This you have to see. J.D. Vance, the current vice president, predicted the demise of Donald Trump 8 years ago. This is a very different looking J.D. Vance, a much younger looking J.D. Vance. There are other differences here as well, which may be less politically correct for me to comment on. But this is J.D. Vance. And here he is predicting the downfall. Pre-eyeliner J.D. Vance. Take a listen.
And as we've been talking about, this is not just a policy problem. There's obviously a significant issue of folks potentially losing access to their health care. But if you think of the political problem, folks have always asked, what is it that's going to drive Donald Trump's voters away from him? Well, losing their health care may actually be the answer to that question.
Wow.
And unfortunately, the Republicans, who I think have been very smart and frankly correct in the fact that Obamacare hasn't solved a lot of the core problems of the American health care market, now own the problem. They're going to learn very quickly, unless they craft a better bill, that it's not just enough to critique the bill that has failed in the past. You have to actually offer a better alternative. And we're going to see if the Senate is able to actually put forward that alternative.
Democrats have.
So listen, that was years ago. That was not coming from some left-wing bomb thrower. That was not Democratic messaging. That's the guy who is now Trump's vice president. And it is the guy who may potentially also bear some of the brunt of people losing their health care under this bill that is currently under consideration. And the thing is, in a sense, J.D. Vance was right. One of the few things that can cut through political loyalty is personal pain. So you can show up with the flags on your boat, you can chant the slogans, you can rage at immigrants or at Harvard, but when people start losing their health care, when their parents can't get prescriptions, when the medical debt piles up, it hits, it gets real, and they want someone to blame. The thing is, and I know many of you know where I'm going with this, the thing is, a lot of American voters have a penchant for blaming the wrong entity. Obamacare passes, includes an optional Medicaid expansion. Their Republican governor says, I don't want to do the expansion. They go, well, why did Obama do this to me? And then they vote for Mitt Romney in 2012 rather than Barack Obama. So J.D. Vance is absolutely correct, but it only works if the blame is placed correctly. Now, it's also stunning how far we've kind of drifted since J.D. Vance 7 years ago. Vance knew in 2017 that Trump's policies might end up alienating his base. You fast forward to now, the Republican Party's gone all in on loyalty. Economics don't matter. Analyses don't matter. Trump can cut benefits and push corporate tax breaks and tank basic services, lay off government employees and the whole thing. And his voters mostly will just cheer it for now. Now, the irony is that J.D. Vance wasn't just predicting a moment. He was predicting the unsustainability, bigger picture of Trumpism. Because at some point you do run out of scapegoats. You run out of excuses. People start noticing my life has not improved. And in some senses, they've gotten worse. If jobs don't come back or factories don't reopen or the healthcare doesn't get cheaper, right, as the promises all fail, people realize they've been duped. But to the extent that the Republican Party can shift the blame to Democrats and go, oh, you didn't get anything from my tax bill? Well, that was Joe Biden's fault, for example. Trump's in power. He's still trying to blame Biden. And so the question is, who is going to get blamed? This term is Trump's last. And so in a sense, the idea that it's going to end Trump if he takes health care from people, it's now actually J.D. Vance who is more at risk. Can J.D. Vance remain a potential heir apparent in MAGA? Or is the con and the grift and the personality cult going to fail J.D. Vance as Donald Trump's presidency ends? So I don't think the goal here is really to wait out Trump. The goal has to be to end MAGA because Trump's going to go. And so this is not just about the man anymore. This is the hollow ideology that came with it. And if it's effective, why wouldn't J.D. Vance try to take it and run with it in 2028? The faux populism, the rage and grievance politics, the deflection from real issues and actual economic analyses, Trump's done after this term. That's baked in. The question is, can the rest of us make sure that the MAGA movement dies with the end of Trump's presidency? Not just fades, not it's modified 10% by J.D. Vance, who then picks it up, but it has to be exposed and discredited so thoroughly that people don't ever fall for this again. Funny enough, J.D. Vance saw it coming before he sold out to Donald Trump.